We didn't have any salt or pepper, and we didn't have this and we didn't have that. So it's a good thing we got started.
Yeah.
Hi, Brent.
Hi. So she's just real tired. Yeah. She's in a Pierson mood. Grumpy.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Chip.
Morning.
Hi.
Morning.
So we see all of Dan and Sylvia's right ear.
Steve Humlin.
Yes, he's here where he can hear. He's just not where you can see him.
Okay.
Morning, Steve, wherever you are.
So is he done with treatments till next month or a few weeks?
I'm not exactly sure when the first outpatient one starts. He's been home from the hospital since Tuesday, and he goes to see his regular appointments with the doctors will be on Mondays and Thursdays, but because Monday's a holiday, this week it's Tuesday and Friday. And so we'll know a little more about stuff after we've seen the doctor this week.
Oh, okay.
They're on 2 phones.
Yeah.
But they're side by side.
Mine's gonna die because it didn't have enough battery left.
There, that works. We see you both.
What kind of weather is West Newton having today?
It's very pleasant here today. Nice and sunny. It's supposed to be up to about 80, I think. The humidity is supposed to roll in starting tomorrow. The highs in the high 80s or 90s.
Sounds like a good day for a race. Are there any going on around here?
Well, they're not showing it on TV again this year. Now that the pandemic is over, we're blacked out here in Indianapolis. They can't watch it.
We'd like you to buy a ticket.
Yeah, well, we've got most of our families going, all our kids and their kids, so not me. Or me. Once was enough.
We used to go, but after the 100th one, I said, that's enough.
I've enjoyed 2 or 3 of them, and that's enough too. I always enjoy listening to it. Remember doing that all my life, but attending, 2 or 3 is enough.
I think I'm going to do about 500 miles on the mower this afternoon. Since I went golfing yesterday instead of mowing.
Well, how was the golf game?
It was good. It was the 26th family outing. They call it the 18 before the 500. So it's all family members. And this year it was a benefit for our daughter Lisa after Mark's passing. So the winning teams all donated their earnings and everything. I guess we raised right around $1,000.
Good.
They used a few of my shots, that's all I cared. I can still putt, and I had the longest drive for two groups. Then the young guys caught up with the old guys and flew by me. And Dan Bean, if you want to come down, I'm going to get the MG out today for the first time.
Just gonna get the MG out.
Oh, okay. Well, it's raining here. That doesn't sound very appealing today.
Did you hear me say we're in Minneapolis for Elijah's graduation Friday and the party yesterday? Electrical addition to the basement tomorrow.
Now, where in Minneapolis are they?
They're northwest Maple Grove.
Okay.
It's not the poor side of town. Very nice homes here.
We were down in, I think it's called Whittier or Uptown for Quaker Voluntary Service a week ago. So we had our meeting.
Yeah.
Were you at the meeting house?
No, since we had to house the board, they rented this old mansion, an Airbnb.
Oh.
Had 13 bedrooms. There were 15 of us. So the younger people, a couple of them double, they shared, but I said I wouldn't. I wanted to sleep at night. But the owner had shut the gas off because he thought it was going to be warm. We didn't know. We kept wondering why the building was so cold. So he had to come turn it back on, get the steam heat going.
Dan, your corn and beans up?
Yeah, the air conditioning.
Everything's up.
I just happened to be in the building and it fired up.
We may drop off pretty soon because my battery on the phone is low and we don't have any electricity. We're parked in the neighbor's driveway and we don't have access to their electricity. So. I don't know, we could sit in the truck maybe.
Well, it's a good thing you don't have a Tesla then. You wouldn't be able to plug it in.
That's right.
My sister and brother-in-law have one of those, and they called. They were going to go to Dallas, and they thought they'd stop on the way to Dallas. And they're so obsessed with that car, but my brother-in-law goes, "Do you have electricity in your garage?" I said, "No, the garage door openers are operated by steam engine." My dad, his father-in-law, and I wired it. He should know there was electricity in it. No, out here in the country, we don't have that.
There's Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan. Hi,
Morning.
Megan. How are things in Kentucky?
Appears to be.
They're going well. We have a sunny day finally after some consistent rain. So
Okay. Most people don't. No, it must be blitz, right? We don't get this.
See, John is shy today. There you are.
Oh.
I was the last one that sat down, so that's why it focused on me.
Okay.
Well, you could sit on his lap and then he'd get both of you.
That's true.
There we go.
Look at
There you
that.
go.
What
Now you'll
technology.
lose me.
Now Betty will disappear.
All right.
What kind of a camera is that?
It's a portal. It's a meta product that Facebook's organization.
Oh. Pretty smart.
Yeah, our son gave it to us. He works for Oculus, which is part of Meta. And he has one and it's portable. We can go wherever we want to with it.
Cordless?
Yes.
Yeah, it's got battery.
Wow.
We use it to talk to the grandson.
Megan, are you with us? We see your block that says you're here. Oh,
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I
Playing
left
golf.
my plane, my iPad on the plane yesterday. Okay?
Well, she's on phone. And she has a flip phone. I think.
Is there hope of getting that phone back?
I'm using an old iPad which doesn't seem to be working. Oh, it's dubious. She says she'll get it back. Well, Hugh Gulch said to tell you hi, Megan. I was with him last week. I hope it's. Well, it's about time, so Norma has a
Fine, quick.
prelude prepared for us.
Text me.
Well, there are a couple of us who won't be able to be here for Sunday school today, so we're just gonna skip it this Sunday and take it up again next week with the character of Rhoda, who seems like she was quite a character in some ways. So, are there joys or concerns to be shared this morning?
Well, I have a joy. Went to Emma's graduation ceremony at Monrovia High School on Friday evening. And we have lots of pictures.
I have a concern. My friend Troy is not in good shape, and after meeting, I will be taking him to the hospital for an MRI, and I know he would appreciate your prayers.
Well, I have a couple of prayer requests and a joy to share also. Steve and I continue to need your prayers as we learn more about this cancer thing and walk that path. So we appreciate your thoughts and prayers for us. Wednesday, my brother is having open heart surgery to repair an aneurysm and to replace a leaky valve. So he definitely needs our thoughts and prayers. He's going to have a long recuperation period. And the joy is that grandson Dale graduated from Morrisville High School yesterday.
Yay. Let's pray together, and then Chip, as worship leader, will set her into some silence, and he'll speak out of the silence as he feels led. Loving and gracious God, we lift these joys and concerns of our hearts to you. We also lift the mourning parents in Texas and spouses who were left, the families who were affected by that senseless shooting. Seems to be a scourge in our land. Please help us know what to do, how to speak to those who are affected by such violence, how we might support them in their hour of need. We also think of our Ukrainian friends, literally the Quakers in the Ukraine, who are worshiping today. We pray your blessing on them as they worship amidst the strife. We do thank you for the beauty of this earth, for the joy of small things that surround us, for graduations, which are big events in people's lives. All these things we give to you, O Lord. Be with us, we pray. Amen.
I need to explain one thing before I start my message. On our property, there are 3 houses, and it takes about 2 minutes to get to any of them. I live in one, Troy lives in one, and Brandon and Keisha and Drake live in another. I started this message several times. The message you're about to hear was my first choice. Then I thought maybe I should do a message about Memorial Day. And then again, after the killing of all those beautiful 4th graders, I thought I should do a message about that. I knew that message would come across as really angry and sad, and I would be pointing fingers at people I felt were to blame. I centered myself and thought maybe we needed to hear a message that ended on a positive note, that has some humor, and let us escape for a while from the insanity around us now. My message for today is why I think God doesn't play fair. As most of you know, I had a long talk with God several months ago and made an agreement that I would stop yelling at him when I was mad. I have a temper and a really short fuse, which ends up with me yelling a lot. God would sit on my sofa and I would calmly let him know what troubled me with what was going on in the world. I added that God could send me movies to watch that would inspire me. It seemed like a good plan, and it worked. I watched a cowboy movie in which the cowboy read from his King James Version of the Bible, and there it was. I had my message. I just couldn't believe how well it was going working with God. Now, I didn't really see God, and that is good, and that's a good thing, but I feel him there. You see, if I really could look God face to face, like Edith, God's wife, I would end up as a pillar of salt, but I digress. Let's go back last month when God threw me a curveball. No, I had no idea what that meant, so I had to look it up. Meaning, a different, strange, or unusual situation. The saying comes from baseball. The person responsible for throwing the ball towards the batter, that would be the pitcher, has an array of different throws, one of them being the curveball. It is a particularly difficult throw to strike and can change direction. Troy came over to my house to watch a movie with me, which we do a lot since he lives next door. I don't remember the name of the movie, but it was one that I had recorded earlier. While we watched the movie, I turned the recorded movie off and the TV just happened to be on TCM. They were showing a baseball movie, and since Troy nor I had any interest in a baseball game movie, and it had been on for a while, I turned off the sound. And then we visited a bit. Now the movie was still going on, and my cat Monty was sitting on the coffee table intensely watching. Troy and I both laughed a lot and even took pictures. Then Monty moved to a chair closer to the TV and was really taking in the movie. I had no idea what the movie was called, and Troy kept taking pictures. It really was something to see Monty so engrossed in this movie. My cat Monty, like all my other pets, just showed up at my door. He really acts more like a dog than how you think a cat should act. I asked Monty once if he was a little dog, my little dog Burton, in his past life. You see, Burton, like Monty, not only showed up at the door when I opened it, he just walked in. My little dog did the same, just walked in and never left. Again, I digress. After Troy left, Monty was still watching the baseball movie. I asked him if maybe he liked baseball in a past life, and then said, "Do you think there's a message in this movie?" And I turned the sound back on. Well, as I did, an angel was talking to the baseball coach and was saying something like, "If you can stop your cussing and stop the anger, I will help you win ball games." What? Wait a minute. Did I hear that correctly? The angel told the guy to stop with the cussing and stop being so angry, and the angel would help him. No, that can't be right. I could not do a message about that. That can't be the plan. God would not do that to me. If this is true, then God doesn't play fair. I asked God for a message movie, not a self-improvement one. That's not fair. If that is true, then I would mean that I would have to work on changing my ways and do a message on it. This is going to be a hard one. I found out the movie was called Angels in the Outfield, and later I watched the movie from the beginning. Angels in the Outfield is a 1951 American comedy film starring Paul Douglas and Janet Leigh. The movie is about a young woman reporter who blames the Pittsburgh Pirates' losing streak on their abusive manager, who begins hearing the voice of an angel promising to help the team if he changes his ways. That would have me working on myself and having to tell friends from the facing bench that I have a couple of major problems that God wanted me to work on and give a message about the subject. So here I am. Hi, my name is Chip, and I'm a cusser, and I have an anger problem. That doesn't, I don't, and it isn't a minor problem. They can sometimes be really big ones for me, and I have to let them both, and I've let them both run amok for years and years. A couple examples would be, when I was doing shows at Theater in the Woods, director Danny Castle said to a couple of cast members, "Chip just opens his mouth and you never know what's gonna fall out." And then there's a time that I got into a big fight with my roommate. You could call it a knockdown, drag out one. It was so bad that with rage, it was so bad. Oh. Well, I got misplaced a page, I guess. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. The next day, when I was digging a new flower bed, the neighbor asked if I had buried my roommate there. Okay, so this was not going to be an easy task for me. I knew a lot of people use other words other than cuss words when they're angry. I don't think that would work for me, as anger is the most prevalent part of my problem. So cold turkey, I didn't know what that meant. I stopped both cussing and the anger. Now I know this would not be easy. I even get road rage when I'm shopping at Goodwill on Wednesdays, which is senior day, and you get 30% off. I thought with the help of God or the angel in charge of me, I could do it. Well, it took a lot of prayer and a lot of talking to the one on the sofa, a lot of meditation, but in time I started to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Really, the anger part was the hardest. And on Wednesdays, I didn't let the seniors get to me. I would just smile. I wanted to say, but didn't, "That's okay, ladies," as they blocked the aisle. "I'm not in any hurry at all." Or, "Wow, I didn't realize this was a one-way aisle," as people with cards together came toward me. "Not a problem, I'll back up." And soon it really didn't seem like a problem. Life is too short to let little things upset you. I was so happy with myself. And then it happened. God tested me. And I don't think that was fair. Keisha, my daughter-in-law, and I were going to see grandson Drake perform in a concert. I know all grandparents are proud of their grandchildren and have to brag about them. I am no different. Drake really is talented. He plays alto sax in the school orchestra and also in the jazz band. He also knows all his music, plays solos, and yet never brings the saxophone home to practice. And he has all those moves that jazz saxophone players have. Sorry, I do tend to get a bit carried away when talking about him. Well, on the way to the concert, I was told that Drake was not going to do band next year. When I woke up after fainting, I asked Drake, "Why? It's an easy A for you. Why do you want to stop?" Well, it seems when you were in high school band, you have to do marching band. Drake could still do orchestra and jazz band, but he had to do marching band as well, and he didn't want to do marching band. I asked him why, as I always thought it would be fun to be in a marching band. It seems that those in marching band need 2 weeks out of the summer to practice, and he didn't want to miss 2 weeks out of his summer vacation. By the time we were By that time, we were at school and let Drake out to join his musician friends, and Keisha and I went to get our seats for the show. I was fuming. I brooded about the fact that he was just going to quit something that he was really good at so he could have more time to do something that he was really good at, skateboarding. Drake goes to an indoor skate park after school and has won several contests and would like to turn pro. Of course, Drake was wonderful, and when his part of the concert was over, he and his friend, who also plays in the band, came to sit with us. At a break in the music, the friend said he was so excited to go into the high school band program and be playing with Drake. Keisha told the young man that Drake was not going to do band after this year. The friend wanted to know why. I said loudly, that would interfere with his skateboarding. On the way home, I just couldn't let it go and went on a rant about could he get a skateboard scholarship? And finally ending with, this may be the biggest mistake you ever make. Then when we got home, I gave Drake a hug, told him how proud I was of him, and then went inside to cool down. This brings me back to the movie Angels in the Outfield. The manager was doing really well with no cursing and no anger until one evening he wasn't and got into a fight. With that, the angel was gone. I got in my chair and looked over to where God sits and said, I sure did blow that. Drake's upset, I'm upset, and I'm sure you are disappointed in me. I still couldn't get my anger under control, but I'm going to try harder. Please don't leave me. The next morning before I got Drake on the bus, I told him how very sorry I was and that he should do whatever makes him happy. Something I wish I had heard from my parents. Now, are you ready for this? When Drake got off the bus that evening, he told me that he had a long talk with his band teacher and had decided to do band in high school, including marching band. What a joy! I got him to his house and hurried back to my house where I gave thanks to God and did my happy dance. Life was good and all was going well. Well, it wasn't until God threw me yet another curveball. 2 days later, I found my dear cat Monty laying on the floor and peeing blood. I had no idea what had happened. I called Troy, and as soon as I got Drake on the bus, we headed for my vet. We were the first two people there and rushed in and told the receptionist what was wrong and could I see if one of the vets could look at him. Before she could say anything, another employee came out and said, we don't do emergencies. I asked if I could just wait in the office and see if they could work me in. Once again, I was told, we don't do emergencies. Then she said I needed to go to take him to the airport emergency hospital. So off we went. As I was driving, I thought about all the years I had gone to that vet and how nice the doctors had been. But that office and vet had moved to Mooresville, and there was a change, and not for the better. We got to the emergency vet hospital and found that it was not open until 6 p.m. I couldn't believe we were sent to a veterinary office that wasn't even open. I started to feel really angry, but I got myself centered down and Troy looked on his phone. Boy, my pages are all messed up. Sorry. For another emergency veterinary hospital. Seems the closest one was at Georgetown and Lafayette Road. That was not close. I would have to drive the freeway, something I tried to avoid. Oh well, what could I do but go there? And off we went. We arrived in record time as I was driving like I was in an Indy car race. We walked in, I said we had an emergency. Kathy at the front desk said she was sorry, but they didn't do emergencies. Troy said, what do we do, just let him die? She then asked what the emergency was. I explained, and she told me to have a seat. And she went to see if Dr. Kiefer could work me in. I sat down next to a man with a dog and we chatted a minute. And Kathy came back out and said the doctor would see me in about 15 minutes. Then the man next to me leaned over and said, I knew he would work you in. That's just the kind of vet he is. Then Dr. Kiefer had us come in to one of the waiting rooms and sit down with us and ask what was going on with Monty. He then took Monty to do some tests and said he would be back in 15 or 20 minutes. When he got back, the news wasn't good. Monty had liver failure and was not able to pee because of a blockage. Dr. Kiefer wanted to keep him overnight to hydrate him and run more tests. He also said if Monty gets through this, he will have to be on prescription food for the rest of his life. On the way home, Troy and I talked about how kind everyone was there at the hospital. We had never been there before, and they were so kind and so concerned about Monty. I told Troy, it's like God sent us there. I did a lot of praying that night. The next morning, I got a call from Dr. Kiefer telling me that all that had been for Monty and that he could come home as he was doing much better. So what is the moral of the story? What have I learned? I learned that God really is playing fair. Situations that I saw as a curveball actually led to a peaceful solution if I let God help me and not fly off the handle. What a joy to know God is always there with you to help. As we enter our quiet time, I would like everyone to think about a joy in your life. Sure, we have a lot on our plates that we are dealing with, but there must be something to be happy and grateful for that brings you joy. Mine is having a new vet and a grandson in the marching band. May the light of God surround you. May the love of God enfold you. May the power of God protect you. And may the presence of God watch over you. For wherever you are, He is.
last week when Chip and I discussed what music might be good to accompany the message that he was preparing for today. He'd asked specifically for Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee, and you've already heard that. And then he said something that includes trust. So I looked up trust and obey, for there's no other way but to trust and obey. So that's what we're going to close with today. Thank you for your message.
Thank you. We'll now continue with additional unprogrammed worship and bid Godspeed to all of you who have other obligations and must leave, and hope we will see you next week.
Thank you, Chip.
Great message, Chip.
Thank you. Thank you, Norma.
The friends are easy. I think we'll close worship now.
Thank you, Chip, for your message. It was very moving and very helpful.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, everyone have a nice holiday weekend and enjoy the nice weather here and in Kentucky, since it's Indiana, Kentucky here at the minute. And have a blessed week. See you
You
next
all
Sunday.
too. Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Bye.